A few weeks ago, I released a video on how I'm running a six-figure business kind of ass backwards. And that video did really well. Apparently, y'all resonate with my spaghetti against the wall approach to doing business. And on the one hand, I'm glad I'm not the only one who has to kind of do things their own way. But on the other hand, I don't want to celebrate doing things ass backwards for the sake of doing things ass backwards. I honestly want to run a business in a way that not only works with my brain and the way I like to do my work, but also is optimized for the value that I'm trying to share, the income that I'm trying to generate, and doing it in the most time and energy effective way possible. So what I'm saying here is that even though I do things a little ass backwards, my true commitment is to do things the right way for me to get the best results possible. And as a result, I'm coming into 2025 with an experimental mindset of what would happen if I tried to plan like a normal person might and actually follow the plan that I set for myself. Now, you'll know I am a huge advocate of planning. But to date, I have only been successful doing that at a weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis. My brain doesn't like to think in long term, like 12 months. I don't even know if I'll be alive in 12 months, much less what the world will look like or what I'll be doing in 12 months. So it's really hard for me to wrap my brain around annual planning. But here's the rub. It's really hard to project revenue and create strategic goals in a business unless you can do that. Because until now, I've just been setting revenue goals based on what I did the year before with a little extra. But I'm not really applying any strategy to the revenue goal, if that makes any sense. Honestly, I'm not even sure if anybody else spends as much time thinking about these things as I do. But assuming that I'm not the only overthinking business owner out there, you might appreciate what I'm going to share with you today. So like I said, I'm pretty good with planning on a shorter timeline. And when I really dug into that, I thought to myself, maybe it's because my brain doesn't like to think in long term, or maybe it's because I haven't created an effective template for annual planning. Because I will say that the only reason I am successful with weekly planning or monthly planning is that I have reusable templates. And every week I'm doing the same thing. And when it gets boring, I can sparkleize it a little bit. But the system and the data that I'm collecting and the planning I'm doing remains the same. So when I thought about it from that perspective, I thought, well, let's try going into 2025 with a well thought out template of a plan and then see if I can actually follow that plan and do what I think I'd like to do. Now, all of this is experimental. I have no idea if it's gonna work or not. So what I thought I would do is take you behind the scenes and show you the template that I've built out for myself to plan the year ahead. I haven't actually done the plan yet. That might be a story for another video. But right now, I just want to show you how I'm thinking about this. So it might inspire you to do the same either in a business context or even in your personal life. All of the questions and prompts that are in this template apply to any area of life. So on that note, let's get into it. By the way, a quick point of clarification here. I can set random goals all day long. But herein lies a problem. Number one, they are random, and therefore there's generally no activity put behind them in order to achieve the goal. And number two, I have a tendency to set goals and then promptly forget all about them. So as I started thinking about how to approach this annual plan, those are the things I was solving for, to set goals that are random and to make sure that they're set in such a way that I won't forget about them. So this is what I came up with. I'm quite proud of it, I must say. So I'm going to show you the design of it and how I made the workflow in case you want to recreate it. Or if you want to use my template, I will also link it either right here. I'm not sure where it shows up, but it's called the Organized Business Template if you want to use it yourself. So this is the strategic planner system that I've been using on a weekly and monthly basis. I also do quarterly, but I'm actually gonna stop doing that because it's just overkill in my opinion. But this is the annual planner that I just made. And by the way, if you're using my template, you wouldn't use this planner right here. You would go up here to the little arrow beside new, and you would select the annual strategic planner. and it would build out a brand new template for you. So let me walk you through my thoughts here. Any good annual plan worth its salt has to start with a review of like what happened, how'd you feel, what went well, what didn't go well, and what were the major accomplishments. And I have like a whole database of accomplishments that I record on a monthly basis. And I do that because it's part of the identity that I'm trying to build for myself as someone who follows through on the things that she says she's going to do. And it actually works because it helps my neurons fire and wire together when it comes to following through on things. But I also think it's important to call out the major accomplishments you've had for the year. And then the next piece of it is financial review. What did I make this year versus last year? What expenses did I have this year versus last year? What new products did I launch? Which, spoiler alert, I did not launch any new products this year, but I did optimize mine. I'll get into that in a second. And what new promotional assets did I come up with? Like if I come up with a free tool or something that I share with you guys, that's an asset in my business, and I take that process very seriously. So documenting all of that here, and then going into marketing and sales, I always think it's really important to be auditing the most important marketing metrics you have. For me, that is my newsletter subscribers. I think I'm at like 16,000 right now, and I am doubling down on that in 2025 because more and more I want to move away from relying on social media, and not just because it's really hard to get traction because it's just so noisy, but it's also very distracting and kind of miserable. So I'll use it as necessary. But my true focus is on building my community via email. So if you're not on my mailing list yet, what are you waiting for, dude? I will leave a link to it below. Please sign up because there's going to be a lot of great things that I'm sharing this year. Anyways, there's a couple of other metrics here that I'm going to look at. And then from there, I can answer the question, like, what is the platform I need to focus on for more growth so I can put more effort there and less effort everywhere else? And I already know that that's YouTube. And then I'll look at average conversion rates and how many units of all of the products that I have did I sell. And then I'll do more of like a soft reflection in terms of what did I learn? What do I need to stop doing and start doing? And what did I improve this year? And at that point, I've got data collected that I can use to make decisions. And I've also reflected on how the year felt so that going into 2025, I'm not making random goals. Instead, I'm looking at the data and I'm looking at what I enjoyed and didn't enjoy and making specific goals based on those things to grow in the direction I want to go. So my intentions will be around what do I want to accomplish, improve, simplify, and new things to try. And then from those intentions, I'm going to set very specific and strategic goals. And then I want to show you how I've set this up so that the goals I set today are then built into projects that support the goals. And then from there, I can start thinking about actual tasks and things I need to do in order to make those projects happen. So let me show you what I mean. Right here is the goal tracker in this template. So that's an example goal right there. And I can promise you, I will not set more than 3 goals in my business this year. One will be an annual revenue goal. One will be a new product launch goal. And then the third goal will probably be marketing related or process related so that the 2 second goals support the first goal of the annual revenue that I want to reach so that they're all sort of building on each other rather than going in different directions. So let's say, for example, the annual revenue goal is $100,000 for easy math. The projects that I am then going to set are going to be in service of that goal. So if I want to make $100,000, the project in Q1 is to launch my new product that I talked about, which is going to be a group coaching program. And that is going to be in service of my annual revenue goal and also my process goal, like how I want to show up this year. And by the way, I am launching that group coaching program. I will leave a link to the waitlist below, but let's keep moving forward here. So let's imagine that that is the project that I'm going to focus on in Q1. Then what I've got here is the task calendar right below projects. So I can immediately say to myself, if my Q1 project is to launch this group coaching program, what are the immediate tasks I need to start thinking about? And I'm not thinking about them at a very granular level, like I need to create a sales page and those sort of things. What I'm thinking about are big dates, like when is the start date? When is the finish date? When do I need to start promoting it? When do I need to think about designing the curriculum? All of those sort of things, just big dates so that I can block them out on my task list. And this becomes more important as I start thinking about projects throughout the year, because the things that I want to do in October and November and December, if they're not plugged into my task calendar now, even just the big milestone dates, I will completely forget about them. So that is the strategy I'm using to not only set my goals for the year, but to be very intentional with the projects I plan to reach those goals, and then setting out the major milestone dates in my task calendar. As I start thinking through the projects I'm going to do in like September, October, November timeframe, I'm going to come down here to my task list and I'm going to come over to, let's say, September, and I'm going to write a task to myself. I'm going to be launching something in October. So now is the time that I need to start thinking about it. And I think that this step to set reminders for myself that projects are coming up is going to make all the difference this year. Because in the past, if I had a project I was going to launch in October, I wouldn't think to put a reminder in like September or August to start thinking and planning it. I would wait until I start planning October, and then it's like, oh, I have this big, massive thing that I'm supposed to be doing. And then it's an absolute scramble. So putting reminders in 2 months before, I think, is going to make so much difference to this ADHD brain that has a tendency to forget all of the goals I set for myself at the beginning of the year. So that is how I'm thinking through planning my business this year as opposed to what I've done in the past. I think it's going to make things a lot smoother this year. I will say that last year I felt a lot of overwhelm and just felt like there was too many moving pieces in my business. So this year I am simplifying and streamlining and optimizing, meaning I'm taking away some of the products that I offer and leaving the ones that are most popular and have the biggest impact, and then spending extra time optimizing those products and also promoting them better. Because one thing I'm learning in business, the more products you have, the exponential demand you have to market those products. So I'll have a few smaller offerings, and then my bigger offering this year is going to be group coaching. And I will continue to enhance and optimize that program and relaunch it throughout the year. And I have to say, I'm feeling a lot more clear and confident about how I'm going into this year with very intentional goals. But I will also say that that is not only a learned skill that I continue to learn, I also don't think I could have been this intentional in previous years, because in the early stages of having a business, you really just need to try a whole bunch of things to see what sticks and what doesn't. So the spaghetti against the wall approach that I have taken so far is exactly what I needed. But now that I have clarity, I have data, and I have reflections of how the whole thing is feeling, I know that going into this 4th year of business, that is not only going to be more enjoyable and less overwhelming, is probably going to be more profitable as well. So if you guys want more content like this, like how to think through things if you're not really much of a natural, intentional planner, I'm happy to share more. Again, this is a learning journey for me, but the more I teach, the more I learn. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.